What's up, guys? This is your boy DZD, aka the Drank Kang, Purple World Entertainment, and you are live inside the Dungeon Palace Studios yet again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Quick shout out to all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for getting us past our 1,000 subscriber mark. Thank you so much for getting our channel there. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for supporting us. That I really appreciate it. I remember when I started this channel a while back, that goal seemed like it was totally unreachable. But with you guys' support, with you guys' help, we are now past that and we are now pushing to do a lot more. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Keep hitting that subscribe button. Keep supporting your boy, and I will keep getting these videos out to you. That is a promise to you. Today I have a hot video for you guys. This is one that a lot of people have been asking for, so I decided to go ahead on and give it to you guys. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I start off a mixing template for my beats. I'm going to take you guys into the software. I'm going to show you exactly how I get my tracks set up inside of the software, how I make sure everything is labeled. I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to give you some tricks. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of things that you can use when you go and mix your beats inside of your software. This video is jam-packed with a lot of information, so get your drinks, get your popcorn, get everything that you need, sit back, relax, and let me take you to the software. Let's get it going. Okay, we are now inside of the Reaper software, and we are ready to begin setting up our project template to mix. Remember, this isn't going to be a mixing video. Later on, I'll try and get a full mixing video out to you guys. Right now, I just want to show you guys what I do, how I set up my template, and how I get ready to mix. That way, you can see what I do, and maybe you can take some tips and tricks from this video and use it in your own software. This just gives me a startup ready to go. That way I have full control over everything. I know where everything is, what I want to do with everything. This is going to get me ready to do that. That way the mixing process goes by fast. 10 minutes, you're done with your mix. You now see a folder open on the desktop with all of my exported MPC tracks in it. I'll leave a video link to the MPC video that I made exporting your tracks. I'll leave a link to that. It'll be a card or it'll be in the video description. You can go check out that video, and that video will get you to this screen right here, ready to drag into your software. So let's do that. Let's drag all of our tracks into Reaper. We're going to separate the tracks. There they are. Now, the first thing that I like to do is I want to label my tracks. So we're going to label this one piano chords. P-N-O. Let's take the caps off. P-N-O. C-R-D-S. Piano chords. The next one, you can just kind of tab with Reaper to the next, and it gets you ready to label the next track. So the next track, we're going to label that pluck, P-L-K, melody. We're going to tab to the next one, and you kind of get the idea of what we're going to do here. We're going to label all of the tracks. The next is the 808. Okay, so just to save face on the video, I'm going to go ahead on and fast forward to everything, and I'll go ahead on and label these tracks, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, we are now back with our tracks all labeled. There they are, piano chords, pluck, melody. We have mallets, we have strings, we have an 808, we have kick, clap, open hi-hat. We have another hi-hat, we have another clap here. Let's bring that up here to match it with the other clap. Then we have regular hi-hats. We have a hi-hat loop, crash, and tam. Not that many sounds in this beat. It's just perfect for us to do what we need to do for the purposes of this tutorial. So now that we have everything labeled, we need what's called visualization. We need to recognize all of these tracks visually. Right now, they all look the same. So the first thing that we do in doing that is grouping the tracks. The way we do that is we create another folder. Let's go ahead on and create a folder there. There's another track. We're going to create that track, and then we're going to hit this little icon here, and it's going to dock your tracks underneath. This is the way you create folders in Reaper. Other DAWs have their own way of creating folders. This is very easy in Reaper. You just hit that, and everything underneath that track now is docked inside of this folder. So we want to just dock our instruments inside here. So we're going to go down to our last instrument, which is our string. Our 808 is next. So we're going to go down to our string track, and we're going to hit that folder again and make this the last track in our dock folder. There it is. So now it takes the 808 and all the rest of the tracks and it brings it out, and it keeps all of these docked. So now when you hit this triangle here, it's going to now shrink those tracks underneath, just to make your session a bit more easy to work with. If you hit it again, it now collapses all of that underneath, and you can't even see them now. All you can see is just a representation of some tracks being under there, but you can't really see them. You hit it again, and we're back where we started. So let's do, now that we have the instruments, let's label this track instruments. We're gonna do that. ISTS, that's our instrument track. And then we're gonna do the same thing for our drums. We're gonna go here, we're gonna add another track. By the way, what you see me doing here is I have a command that adds tracks set up on my MPC controller. You can do it with any MIDI controller. Reaper is like that. You can take any action in Reaper and assign it to a button on any MIDI controller. If you have a keyboard, a MPC, whatever, you can assign commands in Reaper to that controller. Very easy. So now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to dock it, hit this plus button. All of our drums underneath that are docked, and then we're going to label this drums. So now we have all of our drums now in one folder. And we have all of our instruments now in another folder. Look at how neat that is. Now, still, these tracks, now that they're docked, they still look the same. We still need that visualization representation. How we do that is, you guessed it, we're going to color code them. That way we can visually recognize exactly what's going on our project. I have a button assigned for coloring. I'm going to do that. I'm going to color my instrument track blue. Okay, then I'm going to color my piano chords. Let's say we do that a green, light green. Okay, you can pick whatever colors you want. These are just some of the colors I use. I always do like plucks and things like that. I do that like a purplish color. You know, let's do mallets, maybe a lighter purplish color. Okay, and then my string, let's do strings usually orange or yellow. So let's go with orange. Okay, my drums are always doing red. I do my drum folder in red, that way I can always recognize it. Instrument folder is blue, drum folder is red. I do my 808 usually in a lighter red. That way I know when I look at those red tracks, I know it's my drum folder and I know it's my 808. My kick, I always do in a green. I always do it in a darker green color. My claps, I always do in lighter green, so I know my kick and my claps are always green. One is light, one is dark. Okay, so there are my kick and my claps. My open hi-hats are always in yellow. All of my hi-hats are always in yellow. So I'm gonna select all of my hi-hats and I'm gonna put those in yellow. And then any percussion sounds, crashes, tambourines, any kind of percussion sounds, knocks, cabinet knocks, wood blocks, anything like that, I always put in a purple color. Okay. Let's do that in a darker purple. There we go, darker purple. Now we want to move on to what's called control. We want control over all of our tracks, distinctive control. And the way I do that is for every single folder, which I have an instrument and a drum folder. Sometimes I'll have an effects folder. Sometimes I'll have a vocal folder. Any folders that I have, I create more tracks for those folders because I want to take those folders and direct them to those tracks. So I have 2 of these folders here. I'm going to create 2 more tracks. Let's do that. 1, 2. 2 more tracks are created. Let's bring them down to the bottom. So in the instrument folder, in the drum folder, all of these drums here are going to this drum folder here. So usually what I do with these folders is I only deal with volume. If I want the entire group low, if I want it high, anything that I want. The way that I affect this group is I route this drum folder, and it's easy to do. All you do is just click on the route button here and then drag, keep it clicked and drag. It turns into a patch cable, and then you drag it down to this folder. What that essentially does is it tells Reaper to take the sound that's coming from this folder and now direct it to this folder. Now, it doesn't take the sound out of this folder. They're both going to be playing. Both of those are going to be going to your master fader, which the master fader is here. This is our master here. So all of the sound in every track goes to this master fader. So this drum folder will be playing, and now this folder will be playing in this master fader, both of them. We don't want that. We just want one to play. So we need to take this drum folder out of the master fader. So let's do that. You just go to the route button again. You left click. See how the master is checked. The master send is checked. You hit that and take it out. Now if you click on it, it's not checked anymore. There it is. So now only this sound, the sound that's coming from this folder, even though it's the drum folder, it is now playing through this track, which is now going to the master fader. Okay, which means we can still affect everything. It's just that there is no sound coming from this track. It will only play to this track right here. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to label that. Let's label that drums. I'm going to label that our drum bus. BUS. Okay, and then let's do the same thing with our instruments. Let's grab right here, drag it all the way down. Boom, we put that in instruments. We go back up here and we right click and take it out of the master send. And now we have an instrument bus. INS bus. So now we have an instrument bus and a drum bus. This is where my effects go. Anything that I want to affect, I can affect the drum group. I can affect whatever I like. Let's say I want to make the drum group a bit more punchier. I throw an effect here. Bam, I have that. The good thing about this is, what if I wanted to send out a track out of just the instruments? What if I just wanted to do that? What if I just wanted to send a track out of the drums? I would have to go on and render all of these files to a separate folder and then render that out. That way I can have them all in the folder. But what this allows me to do is, if I want to send out just the track out of the instruments, I can record just the instruments. If I want to record just the drums, I can, because those specific sounds are going to these specific folders. I'll show you what I mean. Let's say if I want to send out a track out of the drums. Okay, so I know that this is my drum bus. I can right click on that. Instead of recording audio, I can go to record the output of this track. And then I want to record that in stereo. Okay. And then I can engage record here. And even though the entire track is going to be playing, the only thing that's going to print on this track right here is just the drums. That's it. So let's do it. We're going to hit the record button here and watch what happens. And then we hit save. Okay. Now the whole track was playing, but then when we go here to this track and we solo it, let's see what we just recorded. See, there you go. Now we know that we have total control over our tracks. I can do that to instruments. I can do that to drums. If I had any more folders, if it was vocals, if it was effects, anything that I had, I can now print however I want to, whenever I want to, and I can send that out to anyone that I want to. Whether it's a mixing house or whoever I'd like to, I can send that out to, and I have full control over it. Now what we want to do is take these two folders and we want to run them to a separate track, which now becomes our mix bus. The mix bus is a culmination of every single bus that you have, whether it's an effects bus, drum bus, instrument bus. They all culminate down here into the mix bus. Now you can do exactly what it says. You can mix on this bus, meaning I can put effects. I can affect the whole track. If I want to do some EQing, if I want to do some light leveling, some panning, anything I want to do can now be done on this mix bus. That way I can hear everything. It's kind of like having another master fader without dealing with the master fader. And the reason why it's good to have a mix bus is because you can print different mixes from this bus. On the master fader, you can only render exactly what's coming off of the master fader. Then you would have to change stuff in the project, render it again. But on a mix bus, I can print what I'd like, and then I can change it, and then I can print it again, and then I can change it and then print it again. So I can literally have different tracks, different ways that I've did things, all from the mix bus. And it's very easy to do. Like I said, you just route all of your buses to one track. And how we do that is we grab the route and we bring it down here, and then we grab the other route, bring it down here, and then of course we take it out of the master send. We take all of our buses out of the master send, which they already are. We make sure that they're out. Okay, now everything, all of these tracks are now playing through these tracks. So essentially what we have is our tracks going to a folder, to an instrument folder. We took the sound off of that and we ran that to an instrument bus. Then we took the sound off of that and we ran that bus to the mix bus. And we did the same thing with the drums. All of our drum tracks go to this folder. Now we take the sound out of that folder, we run that drum folder down to the drum bus. We take the sound out of that and we run it to the mix bus. Now everything is now playing through this mix bus. As I said, it's like having a master fader that you can literally affect however you want. So let's take a listen to it. Let's make sure we have everything. Everything should now run through this bus. There we are. Nothing is playing doubled. We don't have any duplicate sounds playing. Everything is now running through this mix bus. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to create another track, and we're going to call that our print track. P-R-T-R-K. This is our print track. Now what a print track does is every single thing that comes out of this mix bus, how we want it to affect, we run it to here. Let's route it and then take it out of the master send. And everything that we print is now on this track. Everything that comes out of this mix bus, we can hit the record and it will now print to this track here. So instead of rendering different mixes out, now I can print different mixes out, and I'll show you how I do that. Let's go here and let's just put some effects on the mix bus. You know, we're gonna disengage them, but we're just gonna put a few effects on the mix bus. Let's use a few of the Reaper effects. Let's put a pitch on there, and then we're gonna add another one. Let's put a delay on there, and then we're gonna add another one, and then we're gonna put a let's say we're gonna put an EQ there. Okay, now these are all our effects. Let's take the check mark out of them so they don't do anything. Okay, so all of these effects are now on the mix bus here. Let's just pretend I have all of these effects that are on this mix bus. Okay, what I can do here, now that it's routed to our print track, I can go here, right click. I can go to record output. I want to record the output. Right now it's recording input, whatever is coming into that track. I want to record what's going out of that track to the print track. So I'll record output. I want to record it in stereo, of course. And now I can engage this record, and anything that's coming off of this mix bus, which is all of this, this sound that's coming off this mix bus is now going to be printed on here. So now let's do that. Let's engage the record and print it. Okay, so let's save that. That's now a print of what we just heard. Now, what if I want to take off I want to go back to my effects and say, okay, you know what? I need a copy without the delay and the EQ. You know, I can disengage all of them are disengaged, but I can disengage the delay and the EQ, and I can go down here. I can go back down here. I can take this, move it to a different track, still on the print track. I can mute the track. I don't want to hear that playing. You know, let's say I go here and I label this track. I can double click on the track and I can go to the label here and I can label this track full mix. Let's just say full mix. Okay, so it's going to put that here on this track. And then still in my print track, I've already taken whatever effects I want off. I can go back and do it again. Let's record it. There we go. And this will be, I can double click on this one and I can label this no EQ, no delay. You know, and I can literally I can bring this down here and I can literally have different mixes, different prints of whatever tracks that I want and however I want them. If I want to do some A/B comparison, however I want to do it, I now have that control to do what I want to do. And now after I have all of my buses set up and everything like that, my mix bus and my print track and everything, I just go ahead on and color code those, you know. On my instrument bus, I'll do a dark blue, that way it matches with the folder. My drum bus, of course, I'll do a dark red. My mix bus, I'll do a dark green. Okay, and then my print track, I'll do Let's do the print tracker yellow. Okay, and now I know exactly what I'm doing here. I have total control over my entire project, and that's what we wanted to get. I can affect just tracks if I want. I can affect a full, I can level. After I affect my tracks, I put whatever, let's say I want to beef up my piano chords with a transient shaper. Then I can affect the volume of everything with this instrument folder here. It affect the volume of all of these tracks. And then if I want to put, if let's say I want to bring out more reverb in all of the tracks, I can do that on my instrument bus here. I can put whatever effects I want. I can put reverb and it'll affect the entire bus. And I can also print whatever I like. I can't print anything from these tracks here because they're folders. So I can print whatever I want here just in case I want. Now with this instrument bus and this drum bus going to the mix bus, if I want to print them both, I can. I can print them here on this print track. I can affect whatever I want with the mix bus. I can print whatever I want here. And then I can simply drag them down and have different takes of different mixes and label them all, whatever I like. You know, I can A-B them. I can, you know, if my 808 is a bit more punchy here, if it's not punchy here, I can choose whichever one I like. You know, I can also go back and see what I did in that time. Like what did I put more of a compressor on it? Did I put more of a transient shape on it? I can go see what I did if I'd like to make any more mixes. And now you can see how I have full control over my project. It's not that hard. Once again, once you get this down, I can set this up in no more than 3 minutes. You know, it's just that simple. I group everything, I color everything, I make my buses, I route everything, boom, I'm ready to mix. Just like that. I also have a few templates that I make like this, just in case it's recording sessions. If I wanted to record an artist, you know, over this, I now have full control over every sound. I can lower down, you know, the drums, I can lower down the instruments, I can beef up the instruments, you know. And another thing that printing does, that having a print track does, is if I want to do any real-time mixing, which means while this is printing, while I have this recording to this track, I can raise up, when the chorus comes in, I can raise up the volume of the instruments. You know, with this instrument bus, I can raise that up, and I can do those motions in real time, which a lot of people do. You know, a lot of mixing engineers do. They'll raise up different faders while the track is being recorded, and you can now do that on this print track. If I want the drums to come out in the chorus a bit more, I can kind of give it a bit more bump in the volume. Now my drums come out in that part because it's all recording to the print track. Once again, what I did was, just to go over everything, I started off with labeling. That's the first thing. I labeled all of my tracks, made sure everything, I understand what my tracks are and what's playing through where. I labeled everything. And then the next thing I did was I wanted to color code and group my tracks, make sure that everything is visually represented. So I wanted a visual representation of my project. I wanted to visually be able to see exactly what I'm doing and where I'm going. And then the next thing that I want is full control over all of my tracks, total control. So I want to route everything where it needs to go. That way I can lower what needs to be. I can record where I want to record. I can do every single thing that I want inside of my project, and it doesn't slow me down, not one bit. So I hope you guys can take away some nice tips from this. Everything that I did here inside of the software, you can do on pretty much any basic software. You know, I just use Reaper because, as I said, it's a beautiful DAW. Some of the things in here, I just like the workflow and how they operate. But by all means, use these tips and tricks in your DAW and let me know how everything works out for you. That concludes the video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know it was a lot of information. We went through it pretty quickly. By all means, rewind the video if you need to. Leave some comments, leave some questions. I try and answer each and every one of you guys and help you guys out as much as I can. If you found this video of any value to you, please hit that thumbs up button. It gives me a lot of encouragement to keep getting this content out to you and keep making sure that you guys enjoy it. Once again, if you have not already, please hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss more of this exact same content that I'm going to be bringing to you. Once again, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much for getting me to that 1,000 subscriber mark. It is an amazing goal that I set out for myself, and I wanted to accomplish that, and with you guys' help, you did amazing. Thank you so much again. This is your boy DZD, aka the Drank Kang, Purple World Entertainment, live from the Dungeon Palace Studios, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.